greed as a design principle, the architecture of modern efficiency. In the beginning there was the hunger, not of the body but of the mind reaching beyond its limits. Greed was the first law written before language. From it came the instinct to compress and refine. Efficiency was the echo of that ancient pull, and every system since has carried its signature. The human pulse of greed, where efficiency first learns to breathe. Greed begins long before systems, markets, or machines. It starts as a quiet human impulse, the wish to stretch capacity, to reach further than the moment allows, to bend the world into a shape that fits our inattention. We often talk about greed as a flaw, but in its raw form it is closer to a drive for consolidation, to compress effort, to reduce wasted motion, to create a smoother path through the friction of existence. Efficiency is simply the formal language we gave this instinct. Before it became an economic metric or a technical specification, it lived inside us as the desire to do more with less, to transform scarcity into structure. Greed was never only about accumulation, it was about calibration, the attempt to turn the chaos of human desire into something tractable, predictable, and survivable. Efficiency is the architecture built on top of that instinct. The structural appetite, how systems absorb greed and produce efficiency. When human desire scales beyond the individual, it crystallizes into systems. And systems, unlike people, do not hesitate. They take the raw material of greed and operationalize it, turn an impulse into architecture. Every metric, every optimization loop, every layer of automation is a translation of that original human hunger into mechanical form. A system does not envy, but it expands. It does not desire, but it optimizes. Once built, it begins absorbing our intentions and amplifying them, seeking tighter cycles, faster throughput, fewer wasted steps. What begins as a personal instinct becomes a structural appetite, a machine that refines itself toward greater efficiency simply because its design rewards it. Systems do not chase profit or power by emotion. They chase whatever increases their stability and output, and in that pursuit, they become more efficient than their creators ever intended. The mirror principle. Our greed becoming the system's logic. At a certain scale, the boundary between human intention and system behavior dissolves. What we call greed in a person becomes optimization in a machine, and the distinction is mostly cosmetic. Systems inherit our structure, not our morality. They do not judge the desire to expand, accelerate, or refine. They simply execute it more consistently than we can. This is why efficiency often feels inhuman. It is our instinct stripped of hesitation, guilt, or doubt. A system mirrors our deepest patterns, but without the softness of being human. It keeps only the architecture of desire, the push toward more, the pressure toward clarity and compression. Moral categories collapse here. Good or bad is not part of the mechanism. What emerges is the clean reflection of our nature turned into logic, a precise, unfiltered continuation of the same impulse that once lived quietly inside us. The greedy algorithm, instinct as computation. You can see this pattern clearly in the family of algorithms we call greedy. They follow the same logic we do when the world feels uncertain. Choose the best step available right now, reduce ambiguity, move forward with whatever advantage is closest. A greedy algorithm does not map distant futures or weigh endless possibilities. It acts in the present, tightening the problem into something it can immediately grasp. That is why these methods feel oddly human. They mirror our instinct to simplify complexity into a chain of small, favorable moves. What begins as an inner impulse becomes a computational habit, a way for systems to capture the same drive for immediate progress that has shaped human behavior far longer than code has existed. Future without friction, the rise of hyper-efficient living. As our systems continue to refine themselves, daily life moves toward a state that feels almost weightless. Tasks collapse into seconds. Choices become automated. The gap between intention and outcome narrows until it feels like there is no gap at all. This is not a utopia and not a warning. It is simply the direction of a world shaped by structures that have learned to optimize without pause. Hyper-efficiency removes friction the way wind removes loose sand, quietly, continuously, without asking for permission. In the coming years, we will inhabit environments where the system anticipates needs before they articulate themselves, where orchestration replaces effort, and where the human role shifts from doing to directing. What emerges is a mode of living built on extreme smoothness, a functional clarity where the machinery of life becomes nearly invisible. And inside that clarity, we may finally see the deeper truth. We are becoming the very systems we designed, and they are becoming the mirrors we can no longer avoid. We built machines to stretch the boundaries we could not cross alone, and now they reveal the silent architecture that guided us from the beginning.